Skidamarinka-dinka-dink, skidamarinka-doo. I love you. Let me see here. Shall we do something fun? It's 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles. It is Tuesday, actually. Tomorrow's Wednesday. If we make it. The 9th of September, AD 2025. And let's do a fun song. The views expressed on the Hake Report do not represent James Hake. It doesn't represent Bond or JLP or the Anchor Baby or anybody or anything. I feel like I had another version of this track. Let's do the no beat one. Just for kicks, right? Oh, how come I unmuted the wrong thing. Let me go back over here. Pardon me, guys. Anyway, yeah, so no endorsement nor opposition implied. It's ridiculous. How silly. So, take everything that you hear with a grain of salt. Would you mind taking everything with a grain of salt? And also, if you were smart, you would not be all interpreting Hake. This goes out to certain people who are all like interpreting Hake. Translation. PDF is okay as long as it's done by the Jays. Something dumb like that. Ridiculous. Shout out. Or you hate white women. No, you hate women more than you love your race. Be that as it may. Be that as it may. The facts are not established. Is this loud? We're listening to more AI Hake music. I will be taking your calls, 1-888-775-3773. This is too much. This is too loud. Let me do this. See if I can find the volume thing over here. Just trying to do something different, okay, guys? Calm down. Hey, beautiful Beverly Hills. American Anchor Baby will be live after Hake, by the way. Hey, pretty nice. I guess that's enough. I guess I'm pretty well set to go. So, anyway, guys, I pretty much did the little disclaimer. So, calm down. Super chat via thehakereport.com or buymeacoffee.com/thehakereport. Tomorrow I have a guest. Dylan Burns will be back. He is the pro-Ukraine liberal, host of the Hippy Dippy Roundtable. I've been on his show. He's been on mine. And you're welcome to call in and bash him or me or both. And we'll have a good time. But that's tomorrow. So we'll see if that happens. This is today. This is the day. And so anyway, everybody, let's just get right on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. la la.
So, how you guys doing? I'm fine. You like that moon? Look at the beautiful ball moon there. You see it? Pretty cool. You see it? Zoom in more, Hake. Nice. So, how you, I think I asked probably how you all are doing. And I mentioned that I am fine. Thank you kindly. Sweet. Sweet. What's up, Mr. Pink? Nice to see you, man. Classical is nice, says Kill the Ego. Yeah, I didn't see the eclipse. The eclipse didn't happen over the States. We couldn't see it. So if we mosey on, oh no, what did I just do? I think I know what I just did. Yeah, that's funny. If we mosey on over to the HakeReport.com and peruse the news, I don't know if I want to peruse the news. Shall we? This always takes forever, and you guys are like, boring. But yeah, there's some thing. They're like, oh, they showed some supposed letter, that poem type of thing that Trump supposedly signed to this guy. At what age did Epstein die? 66 years old. So 16 years prior to his death, when he was age 50. So he died in 2019. He was convicted in like 2006, right? When was Epstein first in trouble for sex stuff? Come on. March 2005. So a couple years before he even was known to do anything wrong. At least by police investigating. March 2005, Palm Beach police opened a criminal investigation into Epstein, Palm Beach, that is. July 2006, a grand jury indicted him on a single felony charge of soliciting prostitution. And when did Trump ban Epstein from Mar-a-Lago? Wonder when, if and when this happened. He banned him from Mar-a-Lago late 2007. All right. According to a 2020 book called The Grifters Club, written by journalists, including a gal at the Miami Herald, who she might have worked with Cernovich to release some Epstein drama stuff. Some of that Epstein drama stuff is not reliable because it's assertions by some woman who was on a warpath, okay? And a woman on a warpath is not necessarily honest. You know, when you're on a warpath, you're deluded. You'll think all kinds of things or make up stuff or, you know, crazy. Mar-a-Lago members stated that Epstein's actions could have irreparably harmed the Trump brand, leaving Trump no choice but to remove him. Removed Epstein after he harassed a member's daughter. October 07. Registry listed his account as closed. Told associates, including lawyer Brad Edwards and strategist Sam Newberg, this was the reason for their falling out. At other times, claimed the split was because Epstein stole Mar-a-Lago spa workers. Oh, yeah, that's true, because there was a 15-year-old, Virginia Giuffre, the woman on the warpath, who was a towel girl. She was a runaway, and then she was like a 15-year-old or something towel girl, according to what I remember reading in that Miami Herald article. So Epstein stole her. He scalped Trump's employees. And Trump was good to his employees. Although some employees are always complainers, of course. Whereas Epstein, I don't know. I can't tell you. I can't say. There are other stories. Anyway, so that's the little thing about that. So 15 years prior was 03 or 05 or whenever. whatever. And we don't even know if it's true. Who cares? But that's your dumb stuff. There's degenerates in the chat who are like calling Trump a kid blanker. And he thinks he's about the truth. Sick. So, that's about enough for what's going on. Crazy stuff going on in Nepal. What's Nepal? What is Nepal? It's a country in South Asia. Okay, beautiful. So they had some protests and the guy resigned. Just perusing a little bit of the news, okay? Look at it, beautiful. Very hilly. Did you know that Afghanistan is actually kind of pretty? The landscape, that is. Wow. Nepal. Okay, so there's like, okay, so it's like northeastern portion, it appears to be northeast of India. It looks like India would want Nepal because it's kind of like there's Nepal, India, all huge, and then China, all huge, I guess. Or is that Russia? Yeah, it's China. Cool, huh? Wow, Mongolia is its own country? I didn't know that. Hake. And then Russia's way up there. Who knew? Now, I hear that Russia's actually not actually this big. This is just a stretched out version. I'm trying to zoom out. Why are you zooming in? Okay. I know that somebody told me that Russia is massive. Somebody in the snake pit, the chat, that Russia is massive, and I'm sure it is. It's very big, but it's actually exaggerated because the ball Earth globe is laid out on a flat Earth on a flat map, two-dimensional map. The 3D globe is laid on a 2D, two-dimensional surface, and so they have to stretch out some stuff, and it distorts it for some weird reason. Is that because of the lines of longitude get closer together up here? And so in order to keep the lines parallel, even though they're not actually parallel, the lines of longitude go north-south, right? And then it's like a orange slices. You know how an orange slice gets thinner into nothing at the top, a point, the top if you cut it right? And then it's fattest at the equator. So anyway, cool, huh? See, in Antarctica, they say that it's twice. A caller from Australia said that Antarctica is twice as big as Australia, and that looks like more than twice as big, right? Look how big Antarctica is. The ice walls. Just a side note on the Earth. All right. Russia's the biggest country in the world, but it's not really, according to Hake. I didn't say that. See, you're interpreting again. You're the man I was thinking of. Come on, man. Get a life. Get a life. It's geography, not geology. Okay, so I think there might be a little bit more news. Let me just peruse. Mess going on in France. I didn't know they had a prime minister. It's kind of like, I didn't know that, because the president is more prominent in France, but in, not Ireland, the other I word, the other white country with an I word. Israel is, the prime minister is more prominent. I don't get it. Gaza, watch it, clear out of Gaza, anybody, Gaza. I like to say it correctly, the way that the locals say it. Clear out of Gaza, you Palestinians, because Israel's taken over the area, at least for the time being. Watch out. That's crazy. America's housing market gained that's thousand, million, billion, trillion, $20 trillion in 5 years. That's a lot of inflation, because it's not that it's expensive, it's that your money's cheap, right? I think. Which means that it's expensive. Your money just became more and more and more and more worthless. Thanks a lot. Biden and China virus shut down people and liberal communists. There was a blood moon, space deniers. Look at that. Blood moon for some people, meaning it turned red because blue light was blocked or something like that. I don't know. Look at that. Pretty cool, huh? That's a pretty good zoom. Look. Cool, huh? We're looking at photographs. There's a pair of people sitting on a bench, I guess, with the moon between them, and maybe it's twilight or something. It's just very nice. Twilight is just before it goes all the way dark. Look how big the moon looks. That's a zoom, basically. They're zooming way in, and this city is so far away. The moon actually doesn't usually, I think, look that big to normal naked eye, but it looks pretty big sometimes when it gets close to the horizon. And when it, I think it's this, I forget whether it's a supermoon or whatever, when it's the closest to Earth, or when there's 2 full moons in a month. Sometimes there are. Pretty cool. Nice. There was that eclipse thing that we mentioned. Just perusing the news, guys. Bear with me, and I will get to your calls. 1-888-775-3773. A check-in area at Heathrow, London Heathrow. I've been there. Airport. Had a hazmat scare. People had to walk in with hazmat suits. London Heathrow Airport. Check-in. Police say no hazardous materials are at the scene. Scary, huh? You never know what's going to happen. I don't know. I don't care to look into that. 76% likelihood of a tropical storm or hurricane being present in the Atlantic, September 10th. That's tomorrow. Watch out, you down people who are around the Atlantic Ocean. According to the NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. But it appears the season's peak will pass this week with no active storms for the first time in nearly a decade. Explain that, climate changers, scaremongers. What a mess. Is this that guy whom we miss? Is this old, what's his name? Steve Jobs? Wow, look at that little thing. Looks like a toy now. And I had a flip phone back when these things first came out, and everybody had either Blackberries or, like Obama, or smartphones with the touchscreen thing. And I still had a flip phone until late, like 2013, which is a fairly late adopter for a millennial boomer, I should say, if I do say so myself. But shout out to him. He was apparently a brilliant man. White history, men's history. I don't know much really about him, but what's his name? Steve Jobs, the guy who made Apple. Pretty cool. So that's your news. I wanted to scroll down to the bottom and start from the bottom. Okay? Looks like Ashton Kutcher, huh? Yeah. That's partly why I like some of these people, because these actors portray them. Like some actor portrayed the guy who made Facebook, or who stole. I disclaim, but people say he stole it. I totally disclaim that. That guy, Zuckerberg. What a mess. What a big mess. Let me catch up with myself a little bit here. Disclaimer. Don't interpret. Hey guys. I didn't have to mention my shirt. You proud of me? News. Trump-Epstein. Nobody seriously falls for that, I don't think. And if they do, they're seriously in their heads. We'll put it that way. Okay, so I want to show you this guy who, 2 stories actually. This is traumatic. This was like 2 months ago. I wonder if this is going to block me. This is old. A librarian ran off with a yacht captain in the summer of 1968. The start of an incredible love story. Commie Nonsense Network travel. And so this guy, if I can pull it up, this guy picked up this gal. So you see this guy picked up this gal. They were on vacation. She was on vacation. He was on vacation. He's like a sailor adventure guy. Bob. His name was Bob. I won't dox his last name, even though it's right there on the screen. An American yacht captain. Beverly, Canadian librarian. One day in Mazatlan, Mexico, a thunderbolt, quote unquote, passed between them, and their lives would never be the same. I hate this because, one, it's a fake love story, and fake love stories are all about women. And this is from Commie Nonsense Network. Commie Nonsense is also woman nonsense. Shout out. Shout out. And there's this, and so it's like embarrassing for this guy. You know, because he picked her up, but he's supposed to like pick her up kind of in secret. Nobody else is supposed to know. If they do, it's sort of embarrassing, seems like. She felt like a thunderbolt passed between them. The first time she saw him, he stepped out of a taxi. We both stared at each other. This is the 60s. Girls didn't stare at men, but it was a thunderbolt. She said thunderbolt twice. She's holding on to that word. She was 23-year-old, a university librarian. Okay, so that means that she was in college extra long, or she had just graduated a year or two prior, if she graduated within 4 years. She was hanging out with a good friend down there in Mexico. And the traumatic part of this story I haven't even gotten to yet, okay? And I'm using trauma. That's a liberal communist woman word too, so hopefully this is, we'll see what happens with this story, okay? She had arrived in Mazatlan that morning. I don't even know where that is, but it's in Mexico somewhere. Blown away by the Pacific Ocean views. Because she's from Canada. I don't know where in Canada. I don't know if they mention. I was riveted. He was tall, handsome. June 68, 23. Blah, 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 blah. I already read that. I don't know why it's jumping around. We locked eyes so long, I was embarrassed. No words had passed between them. They hadn't even smiled at each other. And so she rushed to meet her friend, feeling flustered. They were having dinner, talked about the thunderbolt. I stared at this man. I couldn't help myself, she said. And this is not the trauma part of the story. I'll tell you soon. For the guys, actually. The waiter was holding a bottle of wine. This waiter said, I have some wine for you from a man over there. So this guy bought her a bottle of wine. And he was sitting at the bar. She avoided accepting drinks from men in bars as a rule. Never felt especially comfortable with the power dynamic. Commie feminism. Plus, look at this. This is the traumatic part. She had a long-term partner. Communist buzzword for LGBT agenda buzzword for a boyfriend. She already had a boyfriend back in Canada. I had a serious boyfriend at home. See? She didn't call it partner. That's commie nonsense calling it that. And thought my life was on course. Wow. Wow. So, you think you have a girlfriend? You don't. Addressing that man at back home. Maybe you dodged a bullet, man. Okay, so she had spent a year exploring Europe and working in the UK. So she had a long-term boyfriend and she's doing that? It wasn't that I'd never met men before. I'd been all over Europe for a year. But blah, 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 blah. Her friend, she and her friend accepted the bottle of wine and blah, 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 blah. So she invited him over to the table with her. There they are again. And he's a yacht captain, remember? So he's like on top of the world. 30-year-old, she's 23. And it's a nice little age gap. So it's like supposedly, I guess, a nice little story. And it's not like she was married, but she had a long-term so-called boyfriend. That means no promises. Interesting, huh? As they say, all is fair in fake love and real war. Terrible. She returned home to Vancouver. She went straight to her mailbox. I was frantic, couldn't afford phone calls back in those days. We had to write to people and blah, 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 blah. And she said, okay, the next day my boyfriend, the one I had for 3 years, Doug, came to see me. And before he even had his jacket off, I just said, Doug, I've met somebody. That this somebody was based in Mexico, that American yacht captain. And nothing had happened between them, but she felt a connection she couldn't deny. Doug was surprised, but took it relatively well. He said, well, that's crazy. You better go down and figure this out. Crazy, huh? And so, nice looking couple. Looks like Joe Biden and some young gal. Young Joe Biden was, he was a bad dude. Bad as in, like a handsome dude. So they wrote letters to each other. And so that's the story. Main thing was that she had a boyfriend and she ditched the boyfriend for this guy that she felt a thunderbolt seeing him. Crazy, huh? And the ex, all nice, I was joking, was probably raised to be this guy. Here's this boy whom I referred to in my notes here as girly, parentheses emotional, grateful kid. And so watch this. Let me know if you agree. I already poisoned your mind with a judgment, my own judgment. Check this out. Oh my gosh, it's a dirt bike. It's a dirt bike. So he got a dirt bike. Oh my gosh, it's a dirt bike. It's a cute mop-haired, bleached blonde, sun-bleached blonde, not bleached with bleach. That's a natural sandy blonde hair. We say sandy blonde rather than dirty blonde, right? And so you got this toy. He's opening his toy for his birthday, apparently, on this Instagram. Dad's got it, Instagram. Shout out. So much easier to reward a child who isn't entitled. Okay, so he's celebrating, these people are celebrating that the child is not all entitled. He's all excited that he got a toy dirt bike, you know, a hand-sized one that would be too small even for little cowboy action figure Jesse Lee over here. The dirt bike is smaller even for this guy, I think. And he's all excited, but skinny kid, which kids are supposed to be skinny. It's okay. Hopefully this is not copyright content. The music background. I hate the music background. They always do this soaking music. What are they, Christians? That's what you wanted. Show me. Not the good kind of Christians. This is the churchy, emotional type of Christians, which they're nice. And in the background, you see this. Maybe that's a father or a dad or somebody. A father is a dad. Uncle or somebody sneaking in behind with, what is he on? But he's celebrating this little toy dirt bikey thing. And isn't that nice? He's not spoiled. He's happy with what birthday gift he got. A nice chair, by the way, that he's sitting on. A nice hardwood floor. Not too bad. But here, listen to this.
Is it the right color?
Oh, pardon me. Let me refresh. I think I stopped and started this too much or something. Let's see if, let me just start it again.
No, but it's okay.
It's getting sort of jumpy.
What's the right color?
Is it the right color? The mom, I'm trying to pretend like, here. Why is it slowing down? It's just IG, guys. Here, let me close and reopen. Maybe I should give it a second. Look how slow it's going. But anyway, you already saw like how, oh my gosh, it's a dirt bike. Ah, this stinks. Well, you get it. You get it. So I wonder if that the ex-boyfriend was one of those too over eager to look like he's grateful. I'm tempted to do it one more time. It's all slow. Ah, nice. I won't pause it. There's like an arrow here for us idiots. Hey, look at the doggy.
Just exactly. Is it the right color?
No,
What's the right color?
Wrong color.
Huh? Red. Oh.
He's trying to start it. Oh, that's why. Oh, now he got real emotional. Okay, so audio podcast listeners, he looked back and saw the man with the dirt bike, and he got up and held his face with his hands, crying, and walked over to his mother. And this guy's at least like 9, 8, 7, 11, maybe 12, 13. Is it the right color? No, no, but it's okay. And he's wearing this smile. So he's like, he knows how to act. He knows how to behave. Typical. Wait, and he looks like he's Christian because he's wearing a cross on his necklace.
Right color.
Posted.
Huh? Red. Oh.
Dogs. He's trying to start it and he can't do it. Weird. Oh my God. That was all. And why are they soaking us with this music? Look at that. Someone calling over somebody. Isn't that nice? But I don't like that. Let me see if I can. I don't know if I'm able to share these things from the browser. I will tell you, IG is inferior on browser. I'll just post it on X, tweet it out. How about that? From the Hake report, see this on Instagram, a post by @dags.gotit. See this emotional kid. Let's see if I can do this. Boom. Nice. Hey. See, not such a boomer after all, huh? That's not good. Here, let me just say not good. Hopefully I don't get banned from this. Hopefully I don't get blocked. I'll just put not good. Somebody said so cool. I said not good. Nice. Shout out to Dad's Got It. And see, it's trying to be like promoting fathers and stuff like that, and be there, be present, be a dad, navigating daily life, trying to ensure the people we add to the blah, 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 blah. They're trying to do good, and they're trying to say, hey, this kid's not spoiled and have a nasty attitude. That's nice. I agree with that. But all he knows how to do is they just turn him into like a mama. So I've been meaning to get to that, so I thought I would start it from the bottom, right? You know? Can we go back to making fun of the non-white take, asks Nugget Man? Be patient, Nugget Man. This is important stuff. We can't bash the non-whites properly if we don't bash our fellow white culture where they're elevating the mother too much and turning the kid. Hake hates this kid so much. Let it go, Hake. This is love for the whites, maybe, perhaps. I don't know. I disclaim. Because there's so much of this Christian-y stuff where you're turning the kid into like an emotional, nicey, just like his mother. Putting on a show. So it's kind of important. Everyone gets the bashing, including the baltards need bashing too. Okay, so got that done. Thank you guys for bearing with me. That was unfaithful girlfriend marries another. I think she married another. Found another man. Met a guy. Canadian, by the way. And then emotional, grateful kid. Dad's got it IG. I don't know if I want to promote that IG, actually. Okay, so let's bash the... Can we bash the women? Is that the next best thing? Here's a mother, purported mother, who... I hope I didn't get blocked by this gal. I don't think I responded to her. Here's a cool trick to... If you prefer not to be blocked by people, if you get a thrill from being blocked, maybe you got to watch yourself. But this gal, and don't harass her, guys, unless you're Brandon M., because you harass righteously. But this gal, Helen, Susan something, on X, to the middle-aged man who wouldn't leave my 20-year-old daughter alone on her flight to London today. This was last month. The AirPods and books, meaning she put AirPods, earphones in her ear, and opened up books like she was reading to try to ignore this guy who was purportedly hitting on her, according to the scene laid out or implied, suggested by this gal in her post on X, formerly known as Twitter. The AirPods and books were your clue she didn't want to speak to you. And the word no, she said no, was your clue she didn't want the alcohol. 20-year-old, not supposed to be drinking alcohol, at least not in America. I don't know about London. Are you allowed to drink at 18 in London? So I don't know if on the flight if it's marginal. But she didn't want the alcohol you insisted on buying her. You're a creep. Leave women alone. So says this gal. And this gal got 22,000 likes and all kinds of stuff like that. She's a Scottish feminist network, something or other. I don't agree with anyone about everything, but I don't hate anyone, says she. But it doesn't sound like you love this middle-aged man whom you're calling a creep. Pardon the... don't read the screen, kids. There's a lot of cussing. The replies in the thread are like, oh, you got some nasty men in the responses. Internet misogynists are mad. And so a mother, 20-year-old daughter, grown adult young lady, kid, grown adult kids, people call them kids still until they're 26, 30 years old. It just, well, I guess she's a feminist. She's just man bashing. And sometimes no means yes. Or no doesn't necessarily mean no. FYI. Oh, let me do something. Let me see. I don't know if this will work. And I'm not for being overly pushy. But you got to be a little pushy and you got to take a risk. And sometimes doesn't seem... This is spreading hate. How are you supposed to leave women alone if you like women? Anyway. So much nastiness in the world. But don't... That's... I don't like the whole situation. Victim blaming. Where's the victimhood? Who was a victim? Some woman who this gabby guy who thinks that he has a gift of gab kept on. Wait, did he call it? Did she call it harassment? No, that is the 20-year-old daughter a victim because the guy would talk to her too much. I know that I feel like a victim when people can't be quiet. Sometimes I feel like a victim of the snake pit. Sometimes I feel like a victim of talkative people. But that's my fault, or that's her fault. I shake my head. Just nastiness. Anyway. And actually, I notice, too, when you're around a talkative person, they pick up on the fact that you don't necessarily want to talk to them. Or they'll realize, oh, I'm talking too much. And they will tell you, you can always tell me to shut up. And you never do. Or some people never do. I had a friend who had a guy who bought his art sometimes. And he would sometimes tell this, he was a what you see is what you get type of an artist guy. Well, he was that type of person where he was just open with everybody. Very friendly person. But he would just tell this guy, I'm tired of talking. And he told me one time, that's the type of guy you can tell him you're tired of talking. And people understand. So, nice. Right on. Sweet. So that's stay away from these gals. Isn't that kind of traumatizing? So now you don't even know how to. This tricks people into their head about even wanting to talk to women because it just gets so nasty, or the mother gets nasty on the daughter's behalf. Just spreading nastiness. Terrible. Terrible. Okay, let's get into the POCs somewhat, right? I saw this on, this is on Substack. I peruse Substack sometimes. Okay, so cover your eyes, kids. There's a hole word in here. Centaur, right, satyr, MBA, Underground Designs writes, how can you not be on board with this? This is a month ago in reference to Trump's cleanup of D.C. Trump often says that big cities are poorly governed. Fact. I mean, they are. He spent decades lamenting the fate of his hometown, New York, as in New York City, argued frequently for tougher law enforcement. Remember, he called for the death penalty for people who would allegedly do what the Central Park 5 allegedly did. You know, the beating and R-wording of that Central Park jogger. And maybe she shouldn't have been jogging around 9 p.m. or whenever that was. We do victim blame here. You got to blame the victim so that they learn. Or so that other people learn by their bad example. And, but still, it's not right. It was called wilding, the blacks and browns, the blacks and Hispanics over there. Since the 80s and maybe even before that, just beating people, R-wording them, raping, and robbing, even sometimes killing. Young people, too, teenagers, underage, children, kids, they call it. To this day, too. Remember I showed you that Tessa Majors gal? Like a college student who was, I think she was allegedly killed by like a 13 and 14-year-olds or something. Blacks. Somewhere. Called Washington a filthy and crime-ridden embarrassment and a cover your eyes, kids, and ears. A rat-infested, greedy-infested hole. I don't know if that's true or not. We're going to replace the medians that are falling down all over the road. We're going to replace the potholes, the president of the country said from a White House podium just after urging tourists to keep coming. Nice. Yeah, tourists are like, oh, we're not going to come to America because all this division and army in the streets. Some lame-o. Trump sees the world through the lens of real estate, says this person on Substack. I agree with him on that. To him, cities like Washington, D.C., are properties in need of fixing up. Yeah, if it's kind of run down and ugly, or there's bums hanging around, or crime happening a bit much, then it brings down the neighborhood. It brings down the value. It brings down, it's a downer. It's a downer. And downer is not just emotional. It's physical. Okay? And then I'll get to your calls. New York Times, the failing New York slimes. It's not so bad. Liars, commies. Have you been to these places? Says this guy who's on Substack. I've been to 13 of 17 cities in the last, 13/17 cities in the last 5 years. The blight, I love that word, blight, is real. Blight. Two main meanings. First, a disease that causes rapid wilting, dying, and death of plant tissues like leaves, stems, fruit, often by fungi or bacteria. Fungi is not like a fun man. It's like a fungus, but multiple funguses, which is the plural of fungus is actually not funguses, but fungi. Second, it refers to any cause of ruin, decay, or severe difficulty, which is to say the homeless bums and Democrats and certain people, and they are people whom we do not dehumanize, although they dehumanize themselves sometimes, a bit inhumane, right? To be inhumane is to kind of be sort of non-human, right? Kind of animalistic. Sorry, Lin Yan Chen. Urban blight, involving dilapidated properties, systemic vacancy, personal misfortune that spoils opportunities. How about crime and homeless bums and litter bugs? A lot of the immigrants per capita are litter bugs. They litter. They drop trash on the street and in the park and on their lawns and in the ocean. Sick. And in their Tijuana River. Or worse than just trash, sewage. So that's blight. Okay, so the blight is real. Also, take the El Paso stats with a huge grain of salt. Reconcile this data with your lying eyes, and they say DC's not a standout, really, in terms of the crime. And so they talk about all these bad cities that have all this crime, right? Houston, black. Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. Not so much brotherly love. Now it's brotherly fake love, where it's the city violence. Phoenix, Arizona. I guess it's more illegal. Los Angeles, New York City, Chicago, which is a big city, so I think they have like a bad area, and then, or bad areas, and then lots of parts that are not as bad. Columbus, Ohio, Las Vegas, Memphis, Detroit, Nashville, Denver, Seattle, Louisville, Kentucky, Kentucky, Boston, El Paso, and take that with a huge grain of salt, says this guy. Yeah, you're lying eyes. I'm not signed in. Don't look at my password, kids, or adults. Oh, Lord, I don't want to. Why are you trying to make me do that thingamajigger? I'm going to repost this. You can follow my Substack. I think it's the Hake Report or something like that. The link is in my whatever. Gmail. I guess I don't really have to do this now. But let's see. Hold on. Boom. Nice. Did it repost? I'm reposting it now. I'll be like, yup, yup. By accident, it was a typo. And restacked. I restacked it because you're on Substack, you restack. Pretty cool. Very nice. All right, let me get to David in Ocala, Florida on the line here. David, thank you for calling and holding, man. You're live.
What's happening, Hake Bear?
Hey, man. How you doing?
It's coming in a sort of little... Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine. Can you hear me well?
Well, it's sort of like gargly sounding, but I can handle it. It's okay.
Okay.
I can handle it.
You could hear me. Could you hear me fine when you were on hold?
Yeah, when I was on hold, I could hear you good.
Oh, weird. Okay. I wonder if we have to reset something.
It just cleared up.
Oh, nice. Right on.
Right on. It's good enough. Yeah, I called about a couple of things. That young girl that got stabbed,
Yeah, the 19-year-old Ukrainian refugee. And by the way, update on Wikipedia. Wikipedia removed that thing that the article is up for deletion because so many people have talked about it. And think about it. This is not even just like an American on American violence. It's an American on a foreigner who's here as a guest, as a refugee. So, and a Ukrainian refugee, no less. So it's an international story, honestly, objectively speaking.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah, and they sort of tried to, not say anything about it.
Yeah. Suckers. Shout out.
Yeah, well, that's, well, she made a mistake, okay, because she shouldn't have sat down in front of him.
Exactly.
Right? If you look at the other seating, even myself, okay, if I walked on that train or subway or whatever, and I saw him sitting there, I would have went to that seat behind him that was wide open, back in the back, okay, because I don't want nobody behind me like that. You got me?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I would not have plopped right down right in front of him the way that we watched her do that. I don't know if she was tired or overly trusting or just Ukrainian and has no clue about how the blacks are. Like, I don't know how long she was in the country, but that's nuts. That was foolhardy. Yeah. And you shouldn't have to be like that, but you do have to be like that.
Yeah. I'm just telling you, dude, I would have been all over that dude. Somebody would have died that day. It would have been either him or me, man. I told you that's what I'm looking for. That's how I want to go out. I swear, man, I would jump on that dude. Here's the problem.
Yeah.
I really feel that part of the problem with these blacks are they're inbred. It's their uncles getting to their nieces and stuff like that, and that's why these people are crazy.
I don't think that's the case at all, man. I don't know how.
It's some of it. I think it's some of it because when I grew up around them people, they were man, them black dudes are horn dogs. Okay,
right. I know that
they get their little cousin out there in front of them, turning 14 and stuff, and they start flirting with each other, and then the next thing you know, she's knocked up.
I don't know. This is what you say that you've witnessed. I don't know about that. I'm not denying it or agreeing or disagreeing, but I don't think that that's why that guy is insane like that because...
Oh, I'm not saying him personally. I'm saying a lot of it has to do with that. Because think about it, man. You're not supposed to mix blood like that. You're not supposed to.
Yeah, you're not supposed to interbreed too closely. But I thought that was just physical deformities, not stuff to where a lot of the violent crime is going out of control. I think the violent crime is going out of control far more. Well, one, I've used to think, and a lot of people think, that they're just more warlike in general, genetically. Like their anger comes out that way, whereas our anger comes out in like cowardice and stuff like that more often per capita, and people pleasing, because people's anger comes out in different ways. So you can sit back and judge the angry blacks for being violent, but you're still angry and being nonviolent. But anyway, like I also think that they've been kind of encouraged to go crazy. Like the single mother situation is so out of control among the blacks. Like it's 77% among American blacks, last I heard. And two, they're encouraged to buy into this racism thing for many generations now, whereas normal thinking people don't think in terms of that. But you heard, according to Andy No and other people who watched and listened to the video, the suspect allegedly said, "I got that white girl. I got that white girl." I don't know how he said it. I don't know because I didn't listen. But that's a quote. That's a direct quote attributed to the video of this guy after he did that to that gal. And so
Yeah,
I
that's
think
like
that it could have been the hatred of the whites that got into him, in addition
they
to the
pump it.
regular. Yeah.
They pump it through the TV. You got Joy Reid, just blasting, us about how we're, white people are evil, and they've been controlling this country for all these years, and just the whole thing, man. And so they start they believe it. It's pretty easy for them to believe because they just they don't want to work. They don't want to listen to the teacher in school. Okay, they don't want to study. They want to play around and jerk around and everything like that in class. And then they're lucky if they got an 8th grade education. By the time they graduate from high school.
Yeah, and an 8th grade education is not 8th grade level. Most people, and I'm serious about that. Most people read at below 8th grade level, I think.
Probably.
I could be wrong, but it's right around there.
I was supposed to go to this one high school in Gainesville, and I moved out into the country and went to this other high school, and I probably would. It would have been so much harder for me at that school in Gainesville than it would have been out in the middle of the woods. Okay,
right.
I mean, I got lucky. I graduated. I swear this algebra teacher. I swear I had a 68 in her class, and she gave me a 71 because it was the last credit I needed to make sure I graduated. And
wow.
So I can't really speak. Now I did real good on the SAT scores and stuff like that though. And I'm not stupid, but I'm probably right now compared to what it should be. I'm probably a 9th grade level or something like that too, because I never went to college.
Yeah.
I couldn't write a proper letter to save my life.
That's funny, man.
What I'm saying? But hey, I came across this, and I don't know if it's true, and I want y'all to think about this, okay? According to what I read the other day, that in 1975 there was 214 million people in the United States, okay? 1975, 214 million, and now there's 327 million, okay? So look how in 50 years, that's 113 million people in 50 years. Get what I'm saying?
Repeat the old number, because I know the 330 million thing. 327 million.
Okay,
number.
in 1975, there was supposedly only 214 million people in the United States.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it increased by another, it increased by 50%.
Right.
Out of control in a matter of 50 years.
50 years. So it took 200 years to get the 214, and it took 50 years to get to increase it by 50%. And there got to be at least half of them have to be immigrants.
Yeah. Wow. You think so? You think half of them are immigrants?
I would just guess. Okay. So if half of them are immigrants, now you know why you got a housing problem. Okay. Now you know why you got all these problems.
And they're not American. Is the other problem, because they're not American in their civilization, they're kind of a less civilized nature. They're not assimilated into our civilization and our culture. They don't value the First Amendment. They don't, per capita, right? They don't value the Second Amendment. They don't value freedom of speech. They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're R-wordists. And some, I assume, are good people. It's a mess. And they vote like commies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and you know how many Muslims they done let in here. So you just described them to a T.
Oh yeah.
And I really, I feel sorry for y'all. Is really what I do.
Oh,
I mean, I really
the
feel
younger
sorry.
generations.
Yes, I feel sorry for them because they never got to experience America at its greatest, the greatest years of America.
Yeah.
You know? Which I would say was between 19, except for Vietnam, from 1955 to say like 1980, maybe 90. It started going downhill after 90.
Yeah.
So there was that window of 35 years. That's it, man. Except for Nam, because that wasn't cool. You know, Vietnam.
I agree with you. I don't know much about it, but I don't think it was. I don't think it was a good idea.
I mean, even you were born in 82, right?
81.
Or 81. That's right. Okay,
Yep.
I'm sorry. And so you were like you were probably like 17 or so when cell phones really started coming in.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes. Yeah. So you
Something
were in
like
high
that.
school.
Yeah, I was in we had beepers. People had beepers. I didn't necessarily have one, but people had beepers in high school and early college, and then they started to get cell phones in later during college. Definitely everybody had cell phones by college. I even got one, but I didn't carry it around. I kept it in my car. I never turned it on, but it was for emergencies, you know. And then eventually, by the time after college, I had a cell phone that I carried all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you see how, listen, they got you controlled, man, because, listen, you can't even, like, they want you to apply for a job through the computer. You know, they don't want you to go in and walk into a place and apply for a job really no more. So now they got all those companies like Indeed and all those people that freaking run that show. Then you got the phone companies. They got you. They can find you anywhere you're at, you know, like these killers that shut their phones off for 2 hours and then go kill somebody and turn them back on. So they got that. And now, look, I just went down because they shut my phone down. My phone can't get accept any more apps because of the ISO or whatever it's called. I think maybe that's it.
iOS.
Because they changed.
iOS, I think. I don't know.
iOS, yeah, that's it.
Operating system.
And my phone won't be able to receive freaking updates no more. So you've got to go get a new phone.
Yeah. Well, maybe you can just delete a bunch of stuff because that's probably what's preventing it from. You ran out of room on it, maybe. So if you might be able to delete. Just a quick tip for the boomer. You might be able to delete a bunch of stuff.
A quick tip for the boomer. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
So yeah, just
well,
ask somebody young whom you trust, or just go through your phone and see if you can delete a bunch of apps that you don't use much, and then you might be able to get an update on your phone. But you're right; it's such a it's kind of like that planned obsolescence stuff. They have you to where like a repeat customer. They don't build stuff to last a lot of the times.
Right, they're doing cars like that now, dude. They design these cars to start dying out at about 90,000 miles. Start having all kinds of electronical issues and stuff in them because of all the junk that they put on them. And that's another thing. You know, my dad's got a '94 Toyota pickup truck. Okay,
nice.
You know, the little truck. Yeah, got 240,000 miles on it or whatever. The bottom line is they don't make something like that no more. Because they don't make a truck like that anymore because of the profitability on it. Okay, they want to. In COVID, the average price of a car jumped like $20,000. Okay.
Wow.
You know, and it's really hard to get. Like now, Toyota still makes the Corolla that's like $25,000 window sticker, but Nissan has a Versa, but those they don't build enough of them anymore, really, and. So you still pay a premium price for those cars.
Yeah.
So they want people buying 60, 70, 100. I mean, my God, when I saw that a full size Chevy truck was like $100,000, some of them, I was like, holy cow!
That's ridiculous. I remember being shocked that some friend / customer when I was in a prior business. Rolled up in some car that my boss said, that's $100,000 car. And that was mine. That was 08, 07, and 2011, something like that. And that was like mind-boggling to me to think of a car being worth, quote unquote, $100,000. It's like a house in some areas.
Well, back then you could almost get a house for that.
Right.
Listen, man, I know you got to go. What I meant though by feeling sorry for y'all is y'all didn't get to experience the peace that we did. Okay, because there's just it's like they're robbing the peace from you, like with the news and everything. You know how they pump all this negative stuff at you constantly.
Yep.
I mean, like years ago, you never would have heard about that lady taking that baseball away from that kid. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And everybody judging her.
Well, it's just multiplied.
Yeah.
You know, so what you're seeing all this stuff, coming at you. I mean, what do you think about that lady, man? You think she should have went over there and took that ball?
No, I don't think she should have. I don't know. I don't know if you heard my expert segment on the J.C. Lee Peterson show, but I kind of defended her a little bit. Because I don't know if she had it like in her hands and the man just snatched it out of her hands. She might have, she might not have. I could be totally mistaken. But he went all the way over to a whole other section to get that ball. It didn't land in nobody caught it. Okay, so everybody was running for it. And it was like a dog pile, as Anchor Baby described yesterday on JLP. And so I kind of appreciate the go-getter mentality of a white woman or whatever that type of person that woman was to go and get that thing after she felt that she was wronged. Because she wouldn't have done it if she didn't think it was hers, Right. So,
well, I think he picked it up off the ground. It looked like, it was rolling. So,
and there were a bunch of people trying to get it, and she's like, "It's not fair."
But see,
no, I don't think she should have done it though.
The guy should have said, listen, you better get away from my family, lady, or I'm going to knock your teeth out. Okay. And that would have took her. That's what I would have told her. You coming up in my area with my family like that? I didn't gave that ball to my boy.
That's not a good thing that women feel so entitled to do stuff like that. It's so crazy.
Oh yeah, that never would have happened freaking 35 years ago, buddy. They gave them, it was all that women's lib junk, that freaking, they had the Virginia Slims commercial for cigarettes. You come a long way, baby. And they pumped this stuff into these, they had the commercial, I think it was Pam, you can bring home the bacon, fry it up in the pan and all that kind of stuff after you're working. Anyway, they gave them so much power that now you got them in the government and they're crazy. I mean, most women, I would say at least 80% of women are nuts. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Totally. I totally know what you're saying, man.
And then we bring them into the military. We bring them into the government.
Asking for problems because it's only going to hurt the men.
Right. Because all they got to do is say that you did something to them, you touched them, you hit them, you did, So, but, hey, hopefully it'll turn around, but I don't think so because they still want a woman president. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I don't think it'll turn around.
Yeah, it's gone, dude.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I feel sorry for you because you're like 16 years younger than me. So you're right there on the crest. You've seen more than most people because of your age. You know what I'm saying?
I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it good.
Yeah.
I witnessed a bit of the Reagan years, which were quite nice, I thought.
Yeah, the Reagan years were nice.
First Bush term was all right. It was not bad.
The Bush Jr. term, not his dad. Okay, but the Bush Jr. term.
W. Bush was all right first term, huh?
In the early 2000s, from 99 to 2005, I made the most money I ever made in my life. Okay, so
those were nice years.
And then when Trump was in, same thing.
Yeah.
Obama, 8 years of that guy. I went and I told my parents. I said, now I know what how people felt in the Great Depression. Okay, seriously, I froze up, man. I didn't spend hardly any money like I did those 8 years. I mean, I literally just froze up.
Wow.
We used to go out 3 times a week to dinner and stuff like that. I knocked it down to like once, maybe. Anyway, there was people that came out of the Great Depression that wouldn't spend no money even when I was a kid. Like I ran into them in the 70s. I'd be like, what? You know, they're wearing overalls and stuff, you know, and I'm like, what's wrong with him?
That's one of my grandmas was, she would talk about coming out of the Great Depression and just being frugal. And
so you got it.
Yep, totally. I mean, it wasn't overalls, but
I know what you're saying. Right. So but then when Obama was in, it hit me and I felt it. And I was like, now I know I can understand what those people were, you know, some kind of way. I mean, because it wasn't that bad as the Great Depression.
Right.
But I got a feeling how they didn't want to spend money because it was so bad on them. Anyway, hey man, thanks a lot and have a great day. Okay. And I want to shout out to William.
Nice.
William III from California. Okay?
Sounds good, man.
All right.
Appreciate you, man.
On, buddy.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.
Take care. Sweetie from Cali, California. What's up, sweetie? How you doing?
I'm doing good, Hake. How are you?
Doing fine, thank you. Thanks for the call-in.
Okay. Well, I called because I was thinking when the caller right now was talking about the lady when she shouldn't have sat in front of the guy on the train.
Oh, yeah. The on the Charlotte train, the Ukrainian refugee who got stabbed to death.
Yeah, she's a Ukrainian, and I don't like Ukrainians. I don't want Ukrainians in the United States. I think they should all go back to their country, be forced to fight for their freedom over there. And this chick probably sat in front of the guy hoping he'd hit on her because she's like, oh, I'm such a good white girl. I want the big black man.
Whoa, hey, ease up. Keep it clean.
I'm such a hot chick.
I totally disclaim that. I don't know what was going through her mind. But
that's just my opinion, hun.
Yeah, your opinion based on just your imagination. Not based on...
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think... Yeah, she probably thought she was a hot chick and was like...
She was. She was pretty.
I'm so excited. All the black men like me, you know?
Well, the chat loves you. That's funny.
Oh, really?
But except for one person says you're an evil caller. And I agree with him. But you're joking. You're joking, you said, right?
No, I really want the Ukrainians to go back to their country and fight over there because if they keep running away,
but that girl can't fight. She's a little 19-year-old model.
How are they going to fix their country if they are brought to
I don't want
the
them to
US?
fix their country. I want Russia to take over and
Exactly.
America to take over part of it. And America gets
Exactly.
money and
Right.
Russia stops attacking quite so much, and we have peace.
Yeah, the Biden regime, I think, was really evil, the true evil one, to
Right.
bring them to the United States because they should have ran to Russia and surrendered instead. Please, Putin, I bow down to you. Please spare me.
Have mercy on us, Putin.
Have mercy. We're just children, you know. We're
Yeah.
just women and children. We will be your slaves. We will do anything you want, master, you know, white master.
Right. Because that guy...
That's totally...
Right.
You know, and then the hottest chicks would have probably got to be his girlfriend or something.
No, Putin is a married Christian man. You're,
oh, okay, I didn't know that.
You women sometimes... You know who you remind me of, sweetie? You remind me of...
Hake?
What's that? What'd you say?
I'm just trying to be funny, honey.
Okay, I know, but this is the Hake Report. You know I'm supposed to keep it G-rated because the kids watch.
I am being G.
No, I don't think so. Well, G nowadays is like G for gay, G for overly sexual.
Great. American.
Putin is divorced? No.
Realistic.
But this is not... Okay, I'm not going to argue about that. But you honestly sort of remind me just the way that you talk because it's very suggestive, we'll call it, / vulgar. And it's amusing.
Well, that's what I think the Soviet girls, that's what I think that the Ukrainians should do. You know,
have you heard of E. Jean Carroll?
Yeah, I don't know who she is, but isn't that like a
E.
survival
Jean
technique?
Carroll is a woman who said that Trump R'd her in the
Oh yeah,
Bergdorf
no, I remember
department
that. I
store
remember that.
around like
Yeah, she's the one that, like,
1993-ish. And
Yeah,
Trump
they
is
went
all,
to court for that.
she's not my type. And to this
Right.
day, people are pretending like Trump R'd her or touched her digitally with his fingers. Because
Right.
only based on grab him by the remember he said grab him by the they let you, and he joked about that, and so just because he said that, they think, oh, he probably, more likely than not, he touched E. Jean Carroll in the Bergdorfs. And this E. Jean Carroll woman she's like, when I was in court, I had to dress up and get my bob haircut and get my look like I did in the early 90s with and look blankable for blankable. Sick.
Okay, so you know when guys like go on YouTube and they like debate, they'll say like women are like I don't remember the term, or is it solipsism or something, where they will do whatever they can to survive. Like in a traditional war, the women would be happy to go to whoever wins the war. You know what I mean?
Women tend, you'll notice, somebody said, who was a fallen state guest, that women go for the most powerful, authoritative seeming man. Somebody said that on the Hake report, maybe, too. One of these,
Yeah,
this
so,
Jewish guy. Yep.
Right.
They'll
So
go to, because they want security, so they go to the man who seems to, they go to the man or the direction that society seems to be going. They follow
yeah,
the crowd.
right.
Yeah.
So like in this war between Russia and Ukraine, they're just like sitting on the sidelines, like cheerleaders, waiting to see who do we get to go to next.
Wow.
You know.
Terrible. So, why are you? Never mind. I don't know. Nice. Thank you for your call,
What?
sweetie.
What were you gonna ask me? Hey,
I was gonna say, why are you woman bashing?
It's true, isn't it? Like, I don't want the Ukrainians.
But
here.
everything
They
that
should
you
go
said
see-
wasn't true. A lot of it was. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I don't want Ukrainians here. I think they should go back to Ukraine and wait to see who they get to go be servants to, you know? And they're going to be happy. They're going to be like, who's our new master, you know?
Yeah.
I'll be happy if Putin wins. Yay, Putin, you know?
Nice.
They don't care. Just send them back.
Nice. Right on.
Because, you know, that girl, she took one job from one American. Hey, you guys, you should find out what Pizza Hut delivery place she was working at, because there's a job opening.
I don't think it was a Pizza Hut, and that's kind of vulgar. That is so crass, sweetie. That's not very sweet. That's so crass. And it wasn't a Pizza Hut, I don't think. But
hey,
you're so
it's very
cold.
American.
You're so
It's
nasty.
Very American. It's a very patriotic thing to do, to give a job to Americans.
It is, but she didn't take a job from an American because it's not a zero-sum game, because that was an enterprising young lady, and she was adding to the world, whereas the guy who took her out was taking away from the world.
You know?
Maybe we should have sent him to the
in
Ukraine.
USA,
Maybe we could have kept her in America and sent him to the Ukraine.
Well,
Why are
neither one of them
are
should've-
you
neither one of
trying to
them
simp
should
for
have
the
been
black
in the
dude?
USA. No.
What should be
neither
done?
one of them
What should
should've-
be? I'm not going to ask.
Neither one of them should have been in the USA, basically.
Yeah, certainly not free
And
walking around.
You know,
I'm
it's
okay
not
with that
the poor-
refugee girl that being here, though.
It's not the poor black schizophrenic's fault that there is no insane asylum for him to be in, you know?
But then he should have just been in prison or something. But he was
No,
he was a rail jumper. Yes, it is his fault that he was free and doing that.
No, it wasn't his fault. It's the American politician's fault because
Well,
they
it's
took
his fault what
the
he did.
insane asylums away.
It's his fault for
Well-
jumping the rail, being dishonest, and being a grown adult man, thinking this is a good idea. Let me go ahead and take
Well,
take this white woman
for
girl out.
Americans with disabilities like him,
That's not a disability.
Being schizophrenic is not a disability?
No such thing. No, it's not.
No?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
You're using communism words.
I'm using black conservative perspective words.
Black conservative
Anyway.
perspective words. That's communism.
Yeah.
Don't follow black conservatives.
Don't follow black conservatives?
No, because they're liberals. They repeat communist buzzwords.
No.
Yeah, they do. You just literally said that you literally said the word disability and schizophrenic.
It's an actual
He
thing, though,
didn't need to be in an insane asylum. He needed to be in prison because he had already committed crimes that warrant prison. You don't need an asylum for that.
Different. I think in prison you have to be able to follow orders, and some people
No, you
who are
don't.
schizo might not be able to follow orders.
No,
And
you're
that's
falling
why
for it.
when
You're falling for the communism, lady, sweetie.
When
Miss?
they have the insane asylums, they're able to drug them up and sedate them. You know what I mean?
No, that's not
So
necessary.
that's just wandering around and in La La Land and being happy, and they just drink their cookies.
You
and
don't
milk
want them
and-
happy. You want them in prison.
I mean, like I'm saying, from what I've heard,
Right.
there
Yeah,
are some
you're,
people that can't follow
but you're not
directions.
sensible because this guy is already he already committed enough crimes that he belonged in prison, not in an asylum. An
Well,
asylum is
if
for
we're gonna-
innocent
if
people
we're
who are
going-
crazy. That man was not an innocent crazy man.
Well, I disagree because I think that
You think he
some
was an
people have
innocent
to
crazy
go-
man?
No, I think he was definitely insane. His mother said she couldn't do anything for him. He was violent. There was no help
Because
for
she
him.
already did too much for him.
There was no help for him.
Yeah, put him in
How
prison
do we prevent a schizo from going off the rails?
because he had already been off the rails. He belonged in prison. Woman.
How do we prevent a schizo from getting off the rails?
You don't. You put them in prison. Once they
No,
indicate that
before
they're
they
off
start
the rails.
committing crimes,
Huh?
well, before they start.
Are you
committing
aware this
crimes,
man had already committed crimes?
Oh yeah, I know.
Then he belonged in prison.
He's been arrested over 14 times.
Yeah.
But how is he going to be able?
This is not your
to
problem,
function in
woman. You're
prison?
thinking about societal problems, which is not a woman's purview.
It is.
No, it's not.
Hake. Do you not know why? Because women have children, and this woman, his mother.
That doesn't mean that it's
tried
your
to
problem.
help him. Hake, it's the woman. His mom tried to get him help.
That's
His mom
dumb.
tried to
Their
keep
mom
him in
messed
her
him up.
house. His mom also tried to help him stay in the house, supposedly, and try to get him help. And that's what I heard from the mainstream media, is
Yeah.
that she had, already tried to get him services and all that. And
Well,
the judges
sweetie, I
tried to get
encourage
him
you,
services.
don't worry your pretty little head. Just stay clear of people who are suspect. As you're alive, so you seem probably already know this. You don't seem like you're anybody's fool when it comes to street smarts. So just stay street smart and don't worry about the politics.
Well, I still think she sat in front of that guy on purpose to get hit on. Thanks, Hake.
Thank you, sweetie. Take care. Isn't that nice? A mess. I disclaim her comments, of course. I don't think that. I don't buy that. There was nothing about that young lady that was remote in her body language that looked remotely feminine. I thought it was like a skinny boy when she walked in. And then I just saw this other picture of her dressed all fancy and pretty. But she looked like a skinny boy. With that. So, that's silly. Women are so dirty. I heard this E. Jean Carroll woman talking on some guy's show, talking about just like what you just heard, except about herself and all kinds of stuff. Women? Some women. Like this E. Jean Carroll woman who accused Trump and some jury, or he's an adjudicated R-wordist, said a snake whom I had to put at arm's length. And Anchor Baby said that this jury, quote unquote, said that this woman probably was digitally touched, digit means with his fingers, by Trump in their imagination. And with a civil suit, they say, oh, it's more likely than not that it happened. And this civil suit took place where? In liberal, woman-oriented, communist New York City? Anchor Baby looked it up, and he said that they based their probability or their likelihood notion on the fact that he said, grab him by the you-know-what. Sick. Nugget Man says she went into a public transportation knowing there was a so-and-so. A such and such. What was she expecting? Yeah, foreigners don't necessarily know, perhaps. Cut her a little bit of slack, but it was 9 p.m. I don't know. She had just gotten off of work at the pizza place. Anyway, I don't care. And this girl, they say that Trump is vulgar. Trump is not vulgar. Trump has had his vulgar past, which doesn't exist anymore. He has said vulgar things in private. In general, he is appropriate for the moment. What the moment calls for, that is the level of vulgarity that he allows out. If it calls for cussing, he'll cuss. If the moment calls for not cussing, he won't cuss. If they're talking about, if the moment calls for a sexual reference, he may make a sexual reference. If it doesn't call for it, he won't. These dirty women, just inappropriate, which includes E. Jean Carroll, and it includes beautiful Sweetie from Cali, from beautiful Cali. And it's a mess. So these gals are inappropriate, not Trump. You know what I mean? Jelly bean. Let me bash some intellectuals with a little bit, just to introduce you a little bit to this Substack thing. Substack is for self-absorbed writers. I had mentioned this like months back, probably. Because every time I open Substack, I put out my audio podcast, video too. But it's video on Substack, and then it publishes to my audio to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, podcast on Spotify, Podcast Addict, Castbox, many other platforms. Let me know if it's not on your preferred platform. But there's these people who write on Substack. It's for writers mainly. But you can podcast there too, so it's fun. There's this guy. Here's a black guy. He's black. But he doesn't act that black. So I don't know if he's actually black. He writes this. This is from June. This is how long ago I saw this. Actually, I might have seen it after that. But June 15th, nobody's going to read your Substack. That was my first thought when I started posting. I wrote without knowing if anyone would ever read my words. It felt lonely. What is this, a woman? It's a guy named Daniel. Don't dox and harass. Like typing into the void. At first, I wondered if it was all pointless. But then I remembered, it's okay if your first audience is you. Your voice, meaning writing voice, right, still matters, even if no one's listening yet. And he got a 7.7 thousand likes because it's kissing up to their ego, a bunch of other lonely people lonely, egotistical people who think their voice matters. And look at this. It's post after post. So if you want to go viral on here, I probably could. I probably wouldn't be able to pull it off. But if you wanted to go viral here, because I just don't have the natural genius of this, I don't think. Maybe I do. But I don't. I refrain a little bit. June 22nd, Benjamin something. Antoine. Substack makes me a little sad lately. All I see are bestsellers, big names, and posts with thousands of likes. Look at his post, has thousands of likes. But I didn't come here for that. I came for the quiet voices, the shaky ones. You know, the unconfident ones. The ones still figuring it out in public, and I hate how easy it has become to overlook them. That's who I want to read. That's who I want to support. And look, all these suckers are supporting this guy. His post. I bet you he has other posts that's about something actually real as opposed to just ego, and it gets nothing. No play. And then here's another one from a gal. Kate. Dear algorithm gods. She's praying to the algorithm of this social media website called Substack. It's kind of like X, except it's more hoity-toity and longer form writing. It's kind of like Facebook, except it's small and not so crazy to log into, quite as bad. Please connect me, algorithm gods, with people who care about slow living, self-awareness, personal growth, tiny rituals, honest reflection. I'm tired of scrolling through content made only to sell, impress, or perform. That's what your post is about, because you're performative humility type of thing, right? Or am I reading it wrong? I don't think I am. I want stories, softness, hearts, not hooks. But she's not telling any story. So if you're out there, hi, let's find each other. 23,000 likes on this gal. Probably because she's mildly attractive, I'm guessing. I can't really tell. I don't internet stalk. I'm not a woman. Look at this one. The Inner Feed writes, June 24th. That was what? July 6th. You hit publish and there's no reaction, no likes, no shares, just silence. But writing isn't about receiving praise. It's about leaving parts of yourself for others to discover. May take days, may take years. Keep writing, regardless. 5,000 likes. Just phony. Look, another one. Are these bots? Are these like AI bots trying to trick us into like liking their stuff? You hit publish and there's just crickets, says this gal, Lauren. Mildly attractive, I guess. She's not black. I'm trying to bash the blacks. There was one black guy whom I bashed along with this whole circle of puffing up each other's egos. No restacks, no comments, no likes, restacks being the social media action, right? Writing isn't supposed to be about praise. It's about observing, finding, healing, sharing parts of yourself. Look, it may take weeks, months, or years. That's just another, you just bit somebody else. Keep writing, keep healing. Not as many people fell for this one. 854 likes. Isn't that just a bunch of self-important people? Reminds me of those experts who tell you, there's these experts, and then I'll get to your calls. Catch American Anchor, baby. He's coming up soon. There's these experts who tell you that, if you have signs of diabetes, because 44% of diabetics don't know that they're diabetic. Diabetics over 15, right? Don't know that they're diabetic. Well, then how do you know if they're diabetic? Is that because I guess they do the death statistics? People die and then you find out later that they're diabetic? Is that how they estimate that? Some study found this, according to Commie Nonsense Network. What a mess, huh? That was from the news. I'll show you this little thing. It's from Commie Nonsense Network. Real quick. A new study. 44% of people 15 and older people living with diabetes because they don't want to call them diabetics. And I can sympathize with that a little bit, but it's like a liberal version, false imitation of the truth. Because you're a person, you're not a diabetic. Anybody diabetes? Did you call yourself a diabetic, but you just don't, you say it consciously? Read the study, Hake. No, I don't want to read the study. That's too long. You can still call them a diabetic. It's kind of like an alcoholic. You can be like, oh, I'm an alcoholic, but you don't actually identify with it. You just said, oh, I was an alcoholic for a while. You know, it's just describing the pattern that you fell into for a while, or what your body is gonna be. I don't know if there's a cure for diabetes. Maybe there is. I don't know. They say that you can, certain types of diabetes, you just forget that bread exists and eat vegetables, fruit, nuts and seeds and legumes, some meat. Throw away the grain the cow eats. Let the cow eat the grain and you eat the cow. That's what I heard. I don't know. Check it out. What's up, guys? I'm scared to look at the symptoms. Indeed. Terrible. Something about blood sugar, right? Nearly half of people with diabetes don't know they have it. So says a new study. And so the experts, what I wanted to point out, experts recommend you promptly schedule a glucose screening. These, and I'm like, I bet they do, because the experts, quote unquote, and the doctors and all of them are like, they're self-important. And so they want, and they think they're important, and they might be important for some instances, but it's like also they want a job and they want more business. They're drumming up business. Look at Epstein's hair. What a shame, huh? He killed himself, allegedly. He didn't kill anybody but himself, and they're calling themselves Epstein survivors. I wanted to ask Mark, side note, what he thinks of these male feminists like Thomas Massey, calling them Epstein survivors. Phony. Oh, like Epstein killed anybody? Please. Like it was a violent R word. It was a non-violent statutory R. You can call it statutory rape. Yeah, you can call it statutory. Or if you're crazy about it, you can call it PDF, right? But they weren't, like Anchor Baby pointed out, they weren't held at gunpoint. He probably wasn't right if he was having the S out of wedlock. That's not right. I'm not for that. But these gals weren't right, and they knew what they were doing, and they were a mess. And you well know, if you have memory of being a child, some of you guys don't remember like 5th grade and stuff. I don't get that. I don't get how you don't remember 5 years old, 4 years old a little bit, maybe even a little bit of 3 years old, 6 definitely, 7 definitely, 8 definitely, 9 definitely. 10 is 5th grade usually for, well, a lot of the time for people. How do you must have been crazy traumatized to block all that out, or your brain is gone on some level, the relevant part of it. But I remember turning evil in different times. So how are you how are you like, oh, these kids are innocent and helpless until they're 18? Stupid. It's ridiculous. You're thinking like the world. You're thinking like a woman, like a feminist. So FYI, this is a side note. Anyway, Substack, self-absorbed, ego proppers, propping. We'll do that. Okay, so let me get to Justin in SoCal, Southern California. Justin, how you doing, man? What's up?
Thanks for taking my call, Hake.
Yeah.
Wanted to ask you what you think of in Los Angeles, the 300 National Guard members that were authorized to be here now in L.A. Do you think that it's worth that $120 million, or maybe that the Posse Comitatus Act is a violation, and we shouldn't allow them to do that. And keep in mind, they have nothing to do. They're not doing anything but keeping the peace. They don't get to arrest anybody. They don't do any law enforcement thing like crowd control. But do you think that now we have them out here in LA, so that's a win for the American people out here?
You're talking about Trump sending the National Guard here?
Yeah. And the federal judge in early September that allowed that to happen.
Nice. I like that. I'm if Trump is doing it, this is something Trump is doing. In general, I'm for it. Because I basically have a basic trust of Trump because he's shown himself to be pro-America and sensible.
Well, you got to think about one thing, the Posse Comitatus Act.
What's
I mean,
that?
I
hadn't heard of that. Posse Comitatus.
Well, the fact that the states don't need military from the federal government to come into their state and to potentially violate the rights of the American people, because the military is kind of, in the state's view, excessive, and so there was that Posse Comitatus Act to prevent random military from just coming in and wielding their power, but they're not doing anything with law enforcement. I guess they still get to do the pew-pew if they need to, but, it definitely would, I think, by bringing the military. He's already brought Marines before. Those guys got, I think there's like 4,000 of them. They got to go, but this time around it's just going to be the National Guard, just 300 of them, and we're spending about $120 million of federal tax money to let them here in our neck of the woods, in your neck of the woods.
Okay, Posse, like a real posse, huh? 1878. And Comitatus, what does this mean? Posse Comitatus.
I don't speak Latin. I don't know.
Well, a posse, I know that from cowboys and black people, right? Because black people have posses, and cowboys had posses. Criminals.
Oh, yeah. Like in Chi-Town in Chicago, they've got like 10,000 gangs, 10,000 of their posse.
Yeah, Obama had his posse. They were all eating fried chicken behind him. Oh, no, that
Black
was not
Lives
Obama.
Matter, yeah.
That
the
was,
communists, yeah.
No, I was talking about like Dave Chappelle. Imagine if Dave Chappelle was president and he has his posse behind him. They're all eating chicken behind him. Anyway.
Oh, Dave Chappelle with the eating chicken, fried chicken. Yeah. They've already got theirs.
Power of the county is Posse Comitatus. Refers to a group of people mobilized by a sheriff to enforce the law. Okay, kind of like deputized. It's a federal law that prevents the use of the Army and Air Force for domestic law enforcement unless explicitly authorized by the Constitution or Congress, though exceptions for the Coast Guard and other circumstances. Created to stop the military involvement in civilian matters, a practice used extensively during the so-called Civil War and Reconstruction. Okay.
Well, do we have enough law enforcement that can handle LA alone?
No.
If so, okay. Well, if not, they can still do the best they can. But the backup is now arrived, called the National Guard, and they get 300 to deter and to protect the American people's law enforcement.
Crime has been an out-of-control problem across many urban areas, we'll call it black or Hispanic areas, for a long time. And just because it's a long time and people have acclimated to it, learned to live with it, doesn't mean that it's not an emergency that warrants the use of the military to show us what can be. And maybe we let go of the military and get a good police force back. If you have more cops, there is kind of a law of diminishing returns. But I think that if we had more cops on the street, we would have less crime, and then the businesses would be doing better. So we would be able to have more money to pay those cops, and then also have more money for people. Everybody would be doing well in life, and we would be able. Then we would have the good sense to put criminals in jail and do whatever we need to do to not allow the homeless to abuse us with their blight. You know what I mean?
Definitely. And I know that there is a power here in the state. We've got, hopefully the new governor, Chad Blanco, but he's the sheriff, and it's the power of the county, Posse Comitatus, I guess. And it was something about after the Reformation Act. So, I mean, we don't need to wait for things to get reformed if it's been, already in the books. But if they need to be protected, meaning the sheriffs, because they can't protect themselves enough to protect the people, that's, I would believe, the time and place where the federal government comes on in and provides the protection so that they can ensure that the power of the county remains. Otherwise, if you have no sheriffs, Sheriff Blanco, you just have the Wild West, and those bandits are definitely, they got their posse, and so I don't personally think that at all. The power of the county is something that would be diminished
Blanco?
by having.
Wait, who's Blanco? Who's this Sheriff Blanco? You don't mean Bianco,
in
do you?
Riverside?
Riverside. I think it's Bianco.
Bianco, yeah, not Blanco. Bianco, yeah.
Chad Bianco, elected sheriff.
But he's running
Riverside
for governor.
County, California.
Yeah, and he's running for governor. So
really?
I would say that.
Nice.
Yep. So I'd say he's definitely going to be the replacement for Newsom because he's
that would be nice. Go ahead.
Yeah, in Riverside County, where he, as a sheriff, there was a threat one day somewhere around there where the president was coming to visit, and they caught the guy that was plotting to take him out and plotting an assassination attempt.
Oh,
so
right on.
He's pretty good about preventing things like that in his neck of the woods. So I know they're sufficient enough to do these kind of high-level things and back up the federal government. So it's only right, I think, to spend $120 million of taxes that's going to be blown anyway on these 300 National Guards to implement measures that could deter the Wild West outlaws from being who they are, and it would I think that's why the judge I think that's why there's no fear in this kind of a judgment to allow them to come. And I think that if we don't, that we're just going to be waiting for the sheriff and the other law enforcement in the state here to deplenish their resources even more and empower and embolden more rambunctious individuals.
Yeah, you know what? It's so crazy. There's this liberal spending, misapplied spending, wrongful spending of all these programs and things. But a lot of what they're doing is making things worse with their spending. They spend on so-called affordable housing, which is just bringing ghettos everywhere because it's bringing ghetto people everywhere. Shout out. I like ghetto people. But but just not near me.
Okay.
Just not near me. I like them in terms of I'm a Christian. Christian love for them. That's all I mean.
Well, yeah. I have love for the people that are disabled, that are elderly, that are destitute.
Yeah.
But are law-abiding American or legal residents to be able to obtain the taxes that I've paid since I was 11 years old. I had a newspaper route, and I was working, and I still paid taxes.
Yep.
I barely take from what I need, and so if I can do it, and I can maintain my thing, great. But if I cannot, one day, if I'm ever disabled or destitute or in great need, it's only right I get that money back, and it's not being wasted on individuals that only take that money and then go to get their food stamps, come here with some sandals, and then instantly America's just got a soup kitchen. America's not a soup kitchen for the world.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
I do.
We all like soup, but we don't need to be having it,
we need some soup Nazis.
We don't need to be full on fascist. That's why the capitalists won, because they knew how to spend their money and put it to take them out, and we did.
Facts.
And it's not that Japan and Germany, who weren't our friends 60 years ago, are all of a sudden now our friends. Is that now they know who they need to be friendly to.
That's right. We're the boss.
Us. Yeah, and if you take the boss out, hey, all you got is people that no longer got a paycheck.
Yeah, man.
So yeah,
Trump knows how to bring what is that? Thriving, make us thrive again, which is good. Right on, man. I
Exactly.
appreciate your call and your common sense and your contribution to California, even though California misapplied your taxes, misused your taxes. Typical.
Yeah, yeah, they definitely they misused it, but now it's good enough to pay the federal taxes to bring in, I think, 300
Yes.
armed individuals who have no qualms going home to their family and explaining why they had to do any pew-pews against anyone that was going to harm any sheriffs or law enforcement out here.
Yes,
that are
sir.
definitely being stretched thin. Well, thanks for taking my call. Yeah, and yeah, I don't need to talk too much. I'm not going to tell you to stop me talking, but I definitely don't need to talk too much.
I appreciate it, Justin. Take care, man.
All right.
All
Take
right.
care.
Bye. You know what, everybody? It's about time for me to read some super chats. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Nordic something, bought something, popcorn bought something, and everybody. So let's see what I can plow through in the next 5 minutes, okay? Because we are wrapping up rapidly. Hi, Hake. Just came back from vacation, says Nordic Pagan. Currently listening to all episodes I missed the last week or so. Wow. Admire and appreciate your diligence. That's cool. Or faithfulness, whatever you want to call it. The other day you talked with one of the callers about Europe and the mess we got on this side of the pond, being the Atlantic Ocean. The issues we got is because the brainwashing been going on since 1945, that is. Some countries worse than others. People have been taught how bad it is to be nationalist. I remember I was told that by a liberal European, Eurocentric kind of POC professor guy in college, so-called Christian, too. Not good to be nationalist because that's like Nazis. To feel guilty about what Germans allegedly did to minorities. We also had to have a selfish culture. People don't give a darn, he says D-A-M-N, damn, about what happens in their countries as long as they themselves aren't victims. A wise man once said, racism saves lives. Indeed, man. I don't think I'll be able to get to all of your super chats, guys. Maybe I'll plow through them and respond more thoughtfully another day. Popcorn Thump Keg says they're hardcore. They're not going to be good in 10 years, 20 years, 2 years. They're going to be criminals, born to be criminals. Frankly, they're born to be criminals, tough, mean, cut your throat. They won't even think about it the next day. They won't even remember that they did it. We're not going to have those people. A quote from the Great White Hope, referencing in part the individuals removed from D.C. during the federal troop deployment. Do you believe people are born to be criminals? I don't, says Popcorn. I believe the environment in which a person grows up and the people they're around during their lifetime influences the decisions they make. The Great White Hope himself has several felony convictions, which by definition means he is a criminal. Actually, I don't think he was born to be one. Similarly, people who commit blue-collar crimes weren't born to be criminals. I think it's a combination of environment people in, modeling what they see, and the extent to which they're able to copy or break away from the environment that makes the difference. Same child raised in a different environment, different outcome. What say you? Are we redefining crime criminal or what? Whether it's white collar or blue collar, it's crime, says Popcorn. I'll have to respond another time. Related to my last coffee, he says, there's a particular, I only have a minute and a half, reason why you support broken windows policing for blue collar crimes and not white collar crimes, he asks. I asked you this before, yet you somewhat scoffed at it. I never said I'm not for broken windows policing on white-collar crimes. You kidding me? I genuinely want to understand why you would go right on at stop and frisk, but when the Great White Hope is charged with low-level white-collar crimes, you call that dumb or you use the targeting defense. If a low-level burglar could prove the cops were targeting him and finally had take him down for, had something to take him down for, if he showed up to court and claimed he was targeted, I doubt you'd be in favor of him being let off based on that. Am I wrong on that? Unpack that a little if you could. He was targeted seems incredibly weak as a defense. Unless you'd argue that for the petty thief at least you're consistent. So falls Popcorn for the fake Trump is a criminal thing. Gregatron says, thanks for having me on your little show yesterday. Here's Pinocchio's Helicopter's new song. Check it out. I will have to. Yenrik Yagoda, thanks, man. I won't be able to read that. And Cesar or Caesar, I'll have to read this later as well. I have 25 seconds or less to get out of here. So this has been the Hake Report, guys. Peace in the Middle East, or at least in your hearts. Adios, America. American Anchor, baby. Coming up next. Bye.